1 year ago, I bought my first ever G-Shock, and never did I imagine it would end up like this. The collection has reached a new milestone of 12 watches, the dirty dozen, so I wanted to give you a quick update on where we're at. Plus, I have 2 new retro watches that have just arrived recently that I haven't had a chance to show anyone, so stick around to the end. So let's crack into box number 1, and if you do want to get your hands on any of the watches that we cover, I have made a list of all of the best prices I can find for you in the description below. So let's start things off with my very first G-Shock, the GD350. I put in a ton of research before I pulled the trigger on this G-Shock because I wanted my first to be a really good one. Ultimately, my decision came down to the inclusion of vibration alarm, as well as a completely unique button that allows you to start a timer from the main menu with a single press, which was invaluable in my sports games. Oh, and also I installed this metal bull bar around it, which I think looks pretty cool. Next up is our A700W, and this was the watch I got so that I'd have something a little bit fancier to wear, maybe into the office or any other occasion where a G-Shock wasn't necessarily the most appropriate. And I really love the clasp on this, how comfy it is. It also has a nice retro design and quite a fantastic backlight. Now this next one is one of my favourites. It's the GWM5610U, and this is one of the best value watches on the market. One of my all-time favourite features of a G-Shock is tough solar, and this watch has it at an amazing price. It means you don't have to worry about ever swapping the battery. You can just give this watch a bit of direct sunlight and it'll keep going forever. As a disclaimer, this watch comes with a standard resin bezel and strap from the factory. However, I've chosen to upgrade it with this epic steel upgrade kit from AliExpress, and that was our most popular video ever that you simply must check out if you missed it. And you know what, guys? Completing this epic build is actually what skyrocketed my love for watch collecting and actually inspired me to come up with the Watch of the Week series, which has now been going on for 4 months. And speaking of which, the very first watch to kick off the series could be none other than the iconic Casio F91W. And this watch is one of the most popular and widely sold watches around the entire world. Even though I'm someone who doesn't have a nostalgic connection to my past with this watch, I still love wearing it due to its extreme level of comfort and simple functionality. I just really wish they'd fix this crappy backlight. Next up is the AE1200 or Casio Royale, but where it lies used to be another watch. We had to sacrifice our B5600, which I loved by the way, in order to create a new watch, but more on that in the second watch case. The AE1200 is a community favourite and one of my all-time favourites too, and for good reason. You will struggle to find a cooler looking watch than this, or one with more functionality for the price. The world map featured on the face allows you to swap between multiple different time zones, making this watch a perfect traveller's companion and a must-have for any watch collector. Last but not least in box 1 is the Casio B200 sunglasses. I mean, the Casio W217H. And what I really love about this watch is how nice and loud the alarm is. My theory for the loud volume of this watch is due to its thickness, which has left a big gap between the lens and screen, which might allow the sound to echo around a bit. That's our first watch box completed, and if you're enjoying the video so far, ram that like button. A quick announcement, I've recently published some changes to the benefits offered in our membership program, the GOAT Crew. So make sure you check out that link at the end of the video or press the join button below the video right now to quickly read these benefits while you're watching. On to our second watch box, and let me start by saying, I hate this box, and that's one of the reasons why. It can be such a precarious balancing act trying to get this thing to stay open. And even when you close this box, that ribbon folds over your collection in an unsightly way. And also, as you'll notice on our first watch, the CA53 or calculator watch, these cushions are way too big, which nearly maxes out a lot of these watches. So I'll leave a link to a much better watch box for you if you'd like to get your hands on one. I thoroughly enjoyed wearing this watch for Watch of the Week due to its unique calculator functionality, which I found very handy, although I must say the tiny buttons can be hard to press if you have chonky fingers like I do. Next up is one of my absolute favourites in the collection, and this is the epic Mr. G. Now, this is actually what happened to our B5600 module, the one that I mentioned in our first watch box, but just look at this gorgeous watch. It was a worthy sacrifice if you asked me. The custom parts installation for this Mr. G was by far the most involved mod I have ever done, having to swap all of the pushers and even the screen lens. So this was simply a must-watch video if you have missed it. By the way, I have further plans for this Mr. G, including a couple of different strap swaps and even another lens upgrade, so make sure you are a subscriber with notifications on so you don't miss it. Next up is this enormous GDX 6900 in black and gold, and this blinged out G-Shock really makes a statement. And I am particularly proud of this G-Shock because I bought it secondhand in terrible condition and managed to buy a new strap set for it and do a full restoration, which has left it looking absolutely pristine. And by the way, the upgrade and restoration of this watch is another must watch, so make sure you check that one out next. Next up, we have the Casio F94W, or as I like to call it, the Bumblebee. This watch is a very affordable, simple functionality watch, just like the F91W, but offers a much cleaner display, especially in 24-hour mode, so I actually like this one a bit better. Next up is the DW6900 Special Edition, which I recently put this cool, transparent blue strap on. I think this watch looks incredibly cool, and especially its unique backlight. Just take a look at that. However, overall, I would not recommend this watch due to the outdated module, and if you'd like a full explanation on that, check out our Watch of the Week episode. Next up is our first ever G-Shock smartwatch, the GBD 200. This watch was a hit and miss. I didn't like the way the notifications were implemented, which is the main feature you'd expect of a smartwatch. However, I did really like the step tracker, which makes this a good sports watch. Now, you'll see we are on 0 steps at the moment, not because I'm lazy, although I am, but because this watch has not been used for the last week. I've been wearing the SKYROCKETED, which is our current Watch of the Week. So that's where we're at with our growing watch collection, but don't go anywhere because I'm about to reveal the 2 vintage watches that have just arrived. Make sure you've rammed the like button if you've enjoyed the video so far, and as a reminder, all of the watches that you've seen today will be linked for you in the description below if there's any you want to get your hands on. Alright, it's time for the first of our 2 vintage pickups. And this first one is a retro Casio from 1987. It's the GA7 Aerobatics. Now, unfortunately, this watch is not in working condition. However, I picked it up for an absolute bargain on eBay. The guy wanted just $50 for it, so I figured I might have a crack at trying to get it working again. Overall, it's in, not the best condition. It doesn't have the original straps, but hey, it might be a fun little project for me. And now our second vintage watch is from 2001, so not quite as old, but one that's a lot more significant to me. This is a rare gum watch variant from Japan that I've been waiting to show up for sale for over 1 year. Now for reference, here's a standard gum watch, one of the ones we had in Australia when I was a kid, and as you can imagine, it has gum on the inside, alright? And you access that by pressing one of these buttons here. But the reason this one is so special is it has some different features. The face of the watch is covered by this character, although on the Australian version we used to have a magnifying glass here which could be deployed. We don't have any batteries of the correct size, so I can't show you the time nor activate the light, which was another cool feature I remember. But the best upgrade from the original was the security. That's right, not just any old clown can open this and get into your gum stash, unlike the original, where all you needed was to press one button. So for this one, you actually had to key in a unique security code, and I use the term unique loosely because there's only 60 possible numbers, but my number is 27 by memory, so now we should be able to open it, and we're in. But you didn't just have to keep gum in these things. You could keep absolutely anything you wanted. In fact, I remember kids used to keep folded up notes in their gum watches. Now that I think about it, this thing might be pretty handy in prison. And the last improvement is the ability to swap the battery with ease, whereas on the original there was no such way, and I had to use a screwdriver to break through the glue and completely mangled it in doing so. For an in-depth review on the original gum watch, make sure you watch this video next. It's an absolute banger. And here is our watches playlist. Thank you to all our subscribers, especially our Goat Crew channel members, for supporting the channel. Remember to check out our new benefits by clicking here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next review.